All right, get ready because we're about to take a deep dive into a market that's expected to hit a pretty huge number, like $5.8 billion by 2027, and that is AI in corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking,
Yeah.
CSR, isn't that just for companies that, have a ton of money to just throw around?
Mm.
But here's the thing, AI is making CSR like a really powerful tool
Right.
for saving money and also like boosting your profits. It's
Mm.
not even just about being, quote, good anymore. It's about
Yeah.
just doing smart business.
Well, and what I think is fascinating about it is that AI is really making this shift
Yeah.
from it
Right.
being something that was nice to have to something that you really have to have.
Yeah.
Investors and consumers and employees
Right?
and even regulations are kind of pushing companies to really step up their game.
Yeah.
And AI is really helping them meet these demands in a way that makes financial sense.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
For those who might not be super familiar with this whole thing, CSR is basically just how companies manage their impact on the world, right?
Yeah.
Like environmental, social, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it used to be seen as this like separate thing, almost like an extra expense.
Mm.
But now with AI, it's really becoming integrated into how businesses actually, do their business.
Right. It's like built into the core of what they do.
Yeah.
You, you think about it this way, like
Yeah.
imagine you have an AI that could analyze your entire supply chain
Yeah.
and figure out exactly where you're wasting energy or producing the most, emissions,
Yeah.
and then suggest ways to improve that.
Right.
That would save you money and also reduce your footprint at the same time.
That's amazing. It's like having a sustainability consultant built into your business.
Yeah, exactly.
So today we're going to break down how AI is really transforming CSR
Mm.
in three key areas.
Yep.
Environmental sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
social impact, and then governance and ethics.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the companies that are leading the charge here.
Yeah. And some interesting questions like, who are the companies that are jumping into this AI plus CSR space?
Yeah.
Is it the usual suspects? The big tech companies?
Right.
Or is there some people that we wouldn't think of?
Yeah, I like a good disruptor.
I do too.
But before we get, too far into the tech side of things, let's talk
Mm.
about what's really fueling all this growth. Like, why is AI CSR suddenly like the hot new thing?
Well, regulations are playing a huge role.
Mm-hmm.
The EU has its CSRD.
Yeah.
And here in the U.S., the SEC has introduced all these new climate rules.
Right.
And these aren't just, suggestions. These
Mhm.
have real teeth to them.
Yeah.
There are penalties for not complying with them.
Right.
So companies are realizing that they need to get serious about ESG or face some, serious consequences.
It's not just about avoiding the fines, though, is it?
No, not at all.
Because investors are really putting their money where their values are. I mean, we're talking about, huge names, BlackRock,
Right.
who, they control trillions of dollars, right?
Mm.
They are using ESG performance to make their investment decisions.
Absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
how a company performs on ESG is
Uh-huh.
directly tied to their ability to access capital.
Yeah.
So that's a big motivator.
And we can't forget about the people, right?
Right.
Like the consumers and the employees,
Yeah.
they're voting with their wallets and their resumes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like 78% of consumers say they're way more likely to buy from a company
Mm-hmm.
with, strong environmental commitments. And a huge number,
Mm-hmm.
76% of employees consider a company's social and environmental, track record
Yeah.
when they're deciding where to work.
That's a whole new ball game.
Yeah,
Companies can't just talk about sustainability anymore.
right.
They have to show, real action,
Yeah.
measurable results.
Right. And that's where AI really, really comes in.
Yeah.
It can help them move beyond just talking about sustainability
Mhm.
to actually measuring their impact,
Mm-hmm.
managing it properly, and then continuously improving. So
Yeah.
it's shifting from
Right.
reactive to proactive
Mm.
and from just reporting on the impact to actually driving positive change.
And remember all the data that's involved in this.
Oh, yeah.
It's massive
Yeah.
and complex.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming for humans to handle alone.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all this data coming from sustainability reports. You've
Yeah.
got sensor data from factories,
Yeah.
social media chatter,
Mm-hmm.
financial transactions.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And this brings up, an interesting point because you hear sustainability and
Yeah.
social impact,
Right.
and people might think, oh, this is all going to cost a fortune.
Right.
But here's the thing, AI can actually help cut costs.
Exactly.
So
It can save you money. So let's take a manufacturing plant, for example.
okay.
AI can analyze energy consumption patterns
Yeah.
and tell you where you're wasting energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that analysis, it can recommend you change machine settings or production schedules to optimize that.
Right.
So that translates into cost savings.
So it's not just about doing like the right thing, it's about doing the smart thing
That's right.
for your business.
Yeah.
And speaking of doing the smart thing, we have to talk about the carbon markets.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
This market is going to hit like $2.4 trillion by 2027.
That's huge.
AI is becoming so important for measuring, managing, and reporting on carbon footprints, which is essential if you want to participate in these markets.
Absolutely. Yeah. AI is really unlocking opportunities in this whole, booming sustainability market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think companies are realizing that by using AI to improve their CSR, not only can they, mitigate risk, but they can create new revenue streams.
Right.
And really gain a competitive edge.
So we've established that AI and CSR is not just a trend.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a revolution happening.
Yeah.
But who are all the players in this game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got, obviously, the big tech giants.
Right.
But who else is kind of shaking things up in this space?
Well, it's a surprisingly diverse landscape.
Okay.
You've got, the usual suspects, Microsoft, Salesforce.
Right.
They're integrating AI into all their existing platforms.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of resources.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the reach to make a big impact.
And I bet they're getting some serious competition from those like agile, scrappy startups there.
Oh, absolutely. There are all these AI native startups popping up left and right.
Yeah.
And they're really laser focused on specific CSR challenges.
Right.
And they're nimble, they're innovative.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And don't forget about the ESG data specialists, right? Like Refinitiv and NSCI.
Yeah, they're sitting on mountains of data.
Yeah.
And they're adding AI to the mix.
Yeah.
To provide deeper insights.
And of course, the consulting firms are also trying to get in on this action.
Oh, yeah, of course. They're using AI tools with all their advisory services.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like a gold rush. Everybody's trying to stake their claim in this exciting new territory.
Okay, so we've got the why, we've got the who. Now let's get to the how.
Yes.
Like, what are the specific ways that AI is being used to transform CSR? What are the biggest opportunities and what are the challenges?
Right. So there are 3 key areas where AI is really making waves.
Okay.
Automated ESG data collection and validation, predictive impact analysis, and natural language generation for sustainability reporting.
All right, stop right there.
Okay.
That's where we're going to pick up in part 2 of this deep dive. I can't wait to unpack those 3 areas and really see how AI is changing the game.
Me too.
So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break.
All right. Welcome back. So before the break, we were just about to unpack how AI is really revolutionizing CSR, and we're focusing on 3 key areas.
Yeah.
Automated ESG data collection and validation,
Right.
predictive impact analysis,
Yep.
and natural language generation for sustainability reporting.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that first one. Automated ESG data collection and validation, because we've talked about the huge amount of data involved in all this. But how can AI actually make sense of it all?
Right.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It definitely would be for a human,
Yeah.
but AI is really perfectly suited for this type of work.
Okay.
So imagine if you could have AI pulling data from all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you have these really dense sustainability reports that companies put out.
Right.
You've got sensor readings that are coming straight from factories.
Yeah.
Even what people are saying on social media
Yeah.
about a company's practices.
So it's like this AI is our super-powered research assistant.
Yeah, exactly.
Gathering all the information we need way faster and probably more accurately than a team of interns could ever do.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's not just about gathering the data. It's also about validating it.
Right. Right.
So AI can cross-check data from those different sources.
Mm-hmm.
It can flag inconsistencies and even identify potential instances of greenwashing.
Wait, hold on. Explain greenwashing for a second, because I feel like some people may not have heard that term before.
Yeah, so greenwashing is basically when a company is trying to make their impact
right.
whether it's environmental or social,
Yeah.
look better than it actually is. So they might be using, misleading language or cherry-picking data,
Yeah.
or even, in some cases, fabricating information.
Right.
So AI can help to kind of sniff this out,
Right.
to make sure that the data being used is accurate
Yeah.
and reliable.
That's a huge relief, because who wants to get caught,
Right.
faking their sustainability report?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be embarrassing and costly.
It would be a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
And the time savings alone are just massive.
Right.
And, CSR teams, they spend a lot of time just collecting and cleaning data.
Right.
AI can just automate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which frees those teams up to work on
Right.
more strategic initiatives.
Okay, so that was automated ESG data collection and validation. Now, what about predictive impact analysis?
Yeah.
This one sounds really intriguing.
It is. It is.
Like, we can look into the future of sustainability.
Yeah. So think about it this way.
Okay.
What if you could know the impact of your CSR initiatives before you actually launch them? You could make smarter decisions.
Right.
Allocate your resources better, and avoid costly mistakes.
Okay, I'm hooked. Give me an example.
Okay.
How would a company actually use this?
Okay, so let's say you're a clothing company, and you're looking to reduce your environmental footprint.
Okay.
So you're thinking about switching to more sustainable materials, but you're worried about the cost.
Right, right.
Well, AI could analyze your past sales data,
Okay.
your consumer preferences, the cost of different materials to predict how that change would affect your bottom line.
So you could actually see, would this eco-friendly move boost sales? Or would it hurt profits?
Right.
It's huge.
It is really powerful information.
Yeah.
Or let's say you're a city planner.
Okay.
And you're trying to improve air quality.
Right.
AI could look at traffic patterns, weather data, emissions data to predict how different policies like congestion charging or promoting electric vehicles, how that would impact pollution levels.
So instead of just like throwing solutions at the problem and hoping they work, you can use AI to kind of simulate the different scenarios.
Yeah, exactly.
And make a decision based on that data.
It really is like having a crystal ball in a way.
Yeah.
But even the best crystal ball needs good data.
Right.
So the accuracy of these predictions really depends on the quality of the data you're using.
So garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, so let's move on to the last of our AI-powered CSR trio, natural language generation for sustainability reporting.
Yeah.
This one sounds almost too good to be true.
I know.
Is AI really able to write those long, detailed sustainability reports?
It is. It is.
That companies have to produce?
It is.
Wow.
And it can do it way faster.
Yeah.
And more efficiently than a human can.
Okay.
Remember all that data we talked about before?
Yeah.
AI could take all that data, analyze it,
and
then use natural language generation to automatically write a report that's tailored to the specific audience.
So investors would get a report that focuses on financial performance, while consumers get one highlighting the company's, social and environmental impact.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a personalized sustainability report for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes sure everything's consistent and complies with all the reporting standards.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which is a huge headache for CSR professionals.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's where I get a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Isn't there a risk that AI is going to be used to spin a really good story, even if what's actually happening isn't so great?
Yeah, that's definitely a valid concern.
Yeah.
Greenwashing can happen. Even with these AI-generated reports. So it's really important to make sure the data is accurate and that the AI system is designed to be transparent and accountable.
So AI is not like this perfect solution. It's a tool.
It is a tool.
That needs to be used responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the 3 key tech opportunities here. Automated ESG data collection and validation.
Yep.
Predictive impact analysis. And natural language generation for sustainability reporting. But how does this all actually play out in the real world?
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of how AI is being used in specific industries?
Absolutely. So let's start with manufacturing.
Okay.
It's an industry that's under a lot of pressure to reduce its environmental impact.
Right.
AI is being used to optimize energy consumption, minimize waste, manage emissions across these really complex global supply chains.
Right.
We're even seeing AI being used to track and reduce Scope 3 emissions.
Okay, and remind me what Scope 3 emissions are again?
Yeah, so Scope 3 emissions, those are emissions
Yes.
that come from a company's supply chain.
Oh, okay.
So not their direct operations.
Got it.
But the companies that they work with.
So that's a big deal, especially with all the consumer demand for, sustainably produced products.
It is.
It's not just about the consumers, though, right?
No, not at all.
It's also about those regulations. Like the EU's CSRD requires companies to report on their entire value chain.
Yeah, their whole value chain.
So if they want to do business in Europe, they kind of have to get on board.
Right.
What about other industries? Like, how is this being used in finance?
Yeah, so banks and investors are using AI to assess ESG risks in their portfolios and lending activities. So they're trying to figure out which companies are most exposed to climate risk, or to analyze the social impact of their investments and make better lending decisions based on ESG factors.
So essentially, AI is helping move that capital towards more sustainable investments?
Right.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a powerful lever for change. And it's not just about avoiding those risky investments.
Right.
It's also about finding opportunities. AI can help investors find the companies that are doing great in sustainability, that are poised to grow in the green economy.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about retail.
Yeah.
How is AI engaging consumers around sustainability?
This is one of my favorite areas
Because
there's so much creativity.
Yeah.
So retailers are using AI to kind of personalize those product recommendations. So if you're someone who's interested in sustainable products, AI can suggest those to you. They're using it to optimize packaging, reduce waste. And they're even using AI to create these interactive experiences that educate customers about sustainability and encourage them to make better choices.
That's so cool. So it's making sustainability more tangible.
Yeah, exactly.
And engaging for consumers.
Yeah.
It helps them see the impact of their choices.
Right.
And hopefully encourages them to vote with their wallets.
Exactly.
I love that it's not just about telling consumers what to do.
Right.
It's about empowering them to make informed decisions.
Exactly. It's about making it a win-win for the business and the consumer, where sustainability is a value add, not a burden.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. From the drivers of the AI and CSR room to all the ways it's being used.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what's next? What are some of the trends that have you really excited about the future?
Yeah, so we're just kind of scratching the surface here. One area that has huge potential is the use of digital twins for carbon management.
Digital twins. Okay, you're speaking my language now.
I know, right?
I love a good sci-fi concept.
Me too.
So break this down for me.
Right.
What exactly is a digital twin?
Yeah.
And how can it help us manage carbon?
So imagine you have a virtual replica of your company's operations, including its entire carbon footprint.
Right.
And it's constantly being updated with real-time data from sensors and other sources.
Right.
So you can really monitor your emissions in a very granular and dynamic way.
So it's like a virtual dashboard for all your emissions.
Exactly.
You can see where they're coming from and how different choices you make
might impact your footprint.
Right.
It's like X-ray vision for sustainability.
It is, but it's even more than that.
Oh.
You can use the digital twin to run simulations.
Oh, wow.
And test different scenarios.
Right.
Like, what if you switch to renewable energy sources? What impact would that have?
Right.
Or what if you implemented a new waste reduction program? You can model all of that in the digital twin.
So you can basically experiment with different sustainability strategies.
Yeah, in a risk-free environment
Right.
before you make any real-world changes.
That changes everything.
It really does.
Wow.
And the technology is still evolving. So we can expect these digital twins to become even more sophisticated.
This is all very exciting.
It is.
What else is on your radar?
Another really interesting area is AI-powered stakeholder intelligence.
Oh, okay.
So we talked about this a little bit before, but imagine taking it to the next level.
AI can analyze huge amounts of data. Social media posts, news articles, regulatory filings, even internal communications.
Yeah.
To really understand what stakeholders think about your CSR efforts.
So it's like having this real-time pulse on what they're feeling.
Exactly.
You could see potential issues early on and fix them before they blow up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got digital twins for carbon management.
Yep.
We've got AI-powered stakeholder intelligence. What else?
One more area that's really gaining traction is AI to measure and manage a company's impact on biodiversity and ecosystems.
Right.
So we're going beyond carbon now. We're looking at the bigger environmental picture.
That's a really important shift.
It is.
Because we can't just focus on climate change.
Right.
We have to look at all those environmental problems.
Exactly.
So how can AI help with this?
Well, AI can be used to map out ecosystems, track biodiversity, and then assess the impact of different activities on the natural world.
So it can help companies identify and lower risks, but also find ways to actually help with conservation efforts.
Exactly. Exactly.
It sounds like the future of AI in CSR is all about going deeper and broader, deeper with the insights and broader with the environmental issues.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
We're going from this like siloed approach to a more holistic one.
Exactly.
And AI is a huge part of making that happen.
It is.
So the potential here is huge.
It is.
But with all this talk about the power of AI, I can't help but think about the downsides, too. Are there ethical things or biases we should be thinking about?
That's such an important question.
Yeah.
And it's one that we need to keep asking ourselves as we develop these technologies.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that AI is being used for good and not for harm.
Well, that's definitely a conversation for another deep dive.
Yeah, for sure.
But for now, I want to shift gears and talk about the strategic implications of all of this for companies and investors.
Yeah.
Even entrepreneurs who are trying to get into this space.
Right, right.
So what should they be thinking about?
Yeah, so it's a little bit like the Wild West out there right now. There's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
But there are also a lot of unknowns.
Right.
So let's start with some advice for all those entrepreneurs and tech companies trying to make it in this space.
So if you're a startup with this brilliant idea, what's your first move?
You have to focus on showing people how you can give them a return on their investment.
Right.
Companies need to see how your solution will help them save money, reduce their risk, or find new opportunities.
Right.
Don't just talk about, the feel-good parts of sustainability.
Right.
Show them the hard numbers.
So it's all about proving that sustainability is profitable.
Exactly. You have to back up your claims with real case studies and metrics. Show them how your product has helped other companies get real measurable results.
And don't forget about integration, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because companies already have all these complicated systems in place. They're not going to change everything just to add on some sustainability features.
That's right. Your product has to work with what they already have seamlessly.
Yeah.
The easier you make it for them to adopt your technology, the more successful you're going to be.
Okay, so integration and ROI. Got it.
Yep.
Anything else these tech companies should be thinking about?
Transparency is key.
Okay.
We've talked about that whole black box problem with AI. Companies need to understand how these systems are actually making decisions.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to something like ESG reporting.
So maybe build in some kind of explanation feature that lets people kind of look under the hood and understand why the AI is making certain recommendations. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that helps build trust and encourage adoption.
Yeah.
And then you can't forget about regulations.
Right.
Those standards are always changing. So your solution needs to be flexible.
Right.
And adaptable.
So design it with the future in mind.
Exactly.
And remember, most of the people working in CSR, they're not scientists. So make your product easy to use.
Yes. User-friendly.
Even if the technology behind it is really complicated.
Right. It's about finding that balance between innovation and actually being able to use it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about advice for tech companies. What about the companies that are trying to implement AI in their CSR programs?
Yes. So the first thing they need to do is really look at their data.
Okay.
Make sure it's accurate, it's accessible, and well integrated across all their systems.
So get your data house in order before you start doing all the fancy AI stuff. And you don't have to do everything at once.
No, not at all.
Prioritize the important stuff.
Yeah, the material issues.
Focus on the areas where AI can really make a difference based on your industry and your goals.
Absolutely.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Right. Start small. Focus.
And remember, technology is just one piece of the puzzle.
It is.
You need to invest in training your employees or hire new people with the right skills.
Yeah, you need people who understand both sides of it.
Right.
The sustainability challenges and the AI solutions.
And of course, the ethical stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You need to have clear policies for using AI responsibly, especially when you're talking about stakeholder data and automated communications.
Absolutely. Transparency and accountability are critical.
Right.
You don't want your AI system making decisions that nobody understands.
Right.
Or that have unintended consequences.
And finally, measure your impact.
Yeah.
But look beyond just the numbers. Think about those bigger environmental and social outcomes
Absolutely.
of your initiatives.
Yeah, it's not just about ROI.
Yeah.
It's about making a real difference in the world.
It's about bringing your business goals in line with your sustainability goals and using AI to get there.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got the companies, we've got the tech providers.
Right.
What about investors? What advice would you give them?
Yeah. So first, I would say look beyond carbon.
Okay.
Carbon's important, but there are huge opportunities in other ESG areas.
Right.
Like social impact, supply chain sustainability, ethical AI, things like that.
So don't just get stuck on one thing.
Exactly.
Look at the bigger picture of sustainability.
Yeah, and then you have to think about data.
Okay.
AI runs on data. So look for companies that have access to these unique or proprietary data sets.
Because data is like the fuel for the AI.
It is.
So make sure the company you're investing in has a really good data strategy.
Absolutely. And then don't forget about the company's readiness to actually do business. Yeah. A lot of these startups, they have amazing technology, but they might not have the experience or the infrastructure to actually sell it and implement it in these large companies.
So look for companies that have a proven track record of working with big organizations.
Exactly. And pay attention to regulations.
Okay.
Because new regulations like the EU's CSRD, those are going to create a huge demand for AI-powered CSR.
Okay, stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Find the companies that are ready to take advantage of these new regulations.
Absolutely. And finally, look for those companies that have built moats around their business.
Okay, what does that mean?
Whether it's through, network effects, proprietary data sets, or unique partnerships.
So you're saying think long term.
Yeah.
Look for companies that have some kind of lasting competitive advantage.
Exactly. And this is good advice for any investor in any industry.
Right.
But it's especially important
in
this world of AI and CSR.
Stakes are high.
They are.
But the rewards could be even higher.
They could be, yeah.
We have this incredible opportunity to use technology to make real change.
Yeah, at a global scale.
It's such an exciting time to be involved in this space.
It is.
I feel like we've covered so much.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
We talked about the market drivers, the key players, the technology, the strategic considerations for all the different people involved.
Yeah.
And even looked at the future of AI and CSR.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
It really has.
And I think it shows just how much potential AI has to change how we think about sustainability.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the technology.
Right.
It's about how we use it. We have to use it ethically and responsibly.
That's a really powerful message. So to all our listeners, think about how you can be part of this movement. Yeah. Whether you're a business leader, an investor, a tech person, or just a concerned citizen.
Yeah.
There are ways to get involved and make a real difference.
Find those companies that are using AI for good. Support them.
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yeah.
Demand transparency. Ask those tough questions.
This is bigger than just business.
It is.
It's about building a better future.
Yeah. A better future for all of us.
And that's a future worth fighting for.
It is.
That's all for our deep dive into AI and corporate social responsibility. Thanks for listening. Okay, so we're back and ready to get into the more strategic side of all this AI and CSR.
Yeah.
We've talked about the potential. We've seen how it's being used. But now I want to know, how can companies, tech providers, and even investors, how can they all kind of navigate this whole new world?
It really is a new world.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Wild West out there.
Right.
There's a ton of opportunity, but there are also a lot of unknowns.
So let's start with some advice for those entrepreneurs and tech companies looking to kind of make their mark here.
Okay.
So if you're a startup and you have this amazing AI CSR solution, what's your first move?
I think the most important thing is to focus on showing a return on investment.
Okay.
Companies need to see how your solution is going to help them save money, reduce risks,
Yeah.
or like find new opportunities.
Right.
Don't just talk about, how sustainability makes you feel good.
Right. Right.
Show them the numbers.
So it's really all about proving that sustainability is profitable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You've got to back up those claims with solid case studies and metrics. Really show them how your solution has helped other companies get real results.
And you can't forget about integration, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because most companies, they already have, all these systems in place. They're not going to rip everything out just to add some sustainability features.
Your solution has to be able to work with what they already have seamlessly.
So the easier you make it to adopt, the more successful you're going to be.
Exactly.
Okay, so integration and ROI.
Yep.
Got it. Anything else?
I think transparency is really important.
Okay.
We talked about the black box problem with AI. Companies really need to understand how these systems are making decisions.
Right.
Especially when it comes to something as important as ESG reporting.
So maybe build in some kind of explainability feature.
Yeah.
Where people can look under the hood and see why the AI is making certain recommendations.
Absolutely. That's a great way to build trust.
Yeah.
And encourage people to use it.
And of course, the regulations are always changing, so you have to build your solution to be flexible. Think about the future.
Yeah. Design it with the future in mind.
And remember, a lot of people working in CSR, they're not data scientists.
They're not technical experts.
So make your product really easy to use.
Yeah, user-friendly.
Even if the technology behind it is complicated.
It's all about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Between being innovative and being usable.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got some advice for the tech companies. What about the companies that are actually trying to implement this AI?
Right. So for them, I would say, start with your data.
Okay.
Make sure it's accurate and accessible, and it's integrated across your systems.
Right.
That's the foundation for anything you do with AI.
So get your data house in order.
Exactly.
Before you start building these fancy AI models.
Right. And don't try to do everything at once.
I would
prioritize.
Yeah.
Focus on those areas where AI can make the biggest difference.
Right.
For your industry and for your specific sustainability goals.
Don't try to boil the ocean. Right.
Exactly.
Start small, start focused.
And remember, technology is just one part of it.
Right.
You need to actually build up internal capabilities and expertise.
So invest in training your teams.
Yeah.
Or hire new people with the right skills.
Absolutely. You need people who understand both the sustainability challenges and the AI solutions.
And then, of course, the ethical considerations.
Oh, absolutely. You need to have clear policies for using AI responsibly, especially when it comes to things like stakeholder data and automated communications.
Transparency and accountability are so important.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a situation where your AI system is making decisions that you don't understand or that are having unintended consequences.
And finally, measure your impact. But look beyond just the numbers.
Right.
Think about those bigger environmental and social outcomes.
Yeah, it's not just about the return on investment. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
So align your business goals with your sustainability goals.
Yeah.
And use AI to get you there.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the companies, we've got the tech providers. What about the investors?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
First, I would say look beyond carbon.
Okay.
Carbon is still important.
Yeah.
But there are so many opportunities in other ESG areas. Think social impact, supply chain, ethical AI.
So don't just focus on one aspect of sustainability.
Right.
Think about the bigger picture.
And then think about data.
Okay.
AI runs on data. So look for companies to have access to these unique data sets.
Right.
Because data is the fuel for AI.
So make sure they have a good data strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then don't forget about the company's readiness to actually do business.
Right.
A lot of these startups, they have great technology, but they might not have the experience to navigate the world of enterprise sales.
So look for companies that have a proven track record.
Exactly. And then pay attention to regulations.
Okay.
Because new regulations, like the EU's CSRD, those are going to create a huge demand for these AI-powered CSR capabilities.
To stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Find the companies that are ready for these changes.
Absolutely. And then finally, I would say, look for companies that have really built these kind of moats around their business.
Like, what does that mean?
Whether it's through network effects or proprietary data sets or unique partnerships.
So you're saying think long term.
Yeah.
Look for companies that have a real lasting competitive advantage.
Exactly.
Right.
This is good advice for any investor in any industry.
Right.
But it's especially important in this world of AI and CSR.
So the stakes are high.
They are.
But the rewards could be even higher.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have this opportunity to use technology to really drive positive change.
At a global scale.
This is such an exciting time to be a part of this.
It really is.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about the market, the players, the technology, the strategies, and even a glimpse into the future of AI and CSR.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, it really has.
And I think it really highlights just how much potential AI has to change how we approach sustainability.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it. We have to make sure that it's aligned with our values and that we're using it to create a more just and sustainable world.
That's a really powerful message to end on.
I think so.
So to our listeners, think about how you can be a part of this, whether you're a business leader, an investor, a tech person, or even just a concerned citizen. There are ways to get involved and make a difference.
You can support those companies that are using AI for good. You can speak up. You can demand transparency and ask those tough questions.
This is about more than just business. It's about building a better future for all of us.
A future that's worth fighting for.
That's it for our deep dive into AI in corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.